December 7th, 1941, a day of infamy. Even as Japanese diplomats were conferring with Secretary of State Hull on peace measures, Nipponese planes were swooping down on Pearl Harbor. This pictorial record includes both U.S. films and pictures made by the enemy as they dropped their load of death on the naval base, on Wheeler Field, on civilian homes and schools. 100 Japanese planes and a number of midget submarines took part in the attack. In an hour and 5 minutes, the battleship Arizona was completely destroyed and 4 others severely damaged. 3 other battleships and 3 cruisers suffered lesser damage. Nearly 200 planes were destroyed. In that Sunday morning inferno, the Pacific Fleet appeared to be completely immobilized by the sneak attack. Nearly 3,000 casualties added to the catastrophe. Within hours, the United States declared war. The attack on Pearl Harbor united Americans as never before in history. In the explosions at Pearl Harbor, there was forged the will for complete and absolute victory over the forces of evil. In Hawaii, civilian and soldier alike turned to the task of caring for the wounded and homeless. At the time, an actual landing by the Japanese was expected, and makeshift plans were made to fight the invader on the beaches and in the streets. The Japanese lost 5 midget subs as well as 29 planes and 100 men. Small cost for the damage they were able to inflict on the U.S. fleet. 2 carriers had been on patrol and thus missed the attack. These 2 ships led other units of the fleet in the battles of the Coral Sea and Midway less than 6 months later. The first steps on the long road to complete victory.
Early in World War II, Hiroki Yamamoto is quoted as having said, "If it is necessary to fight in the first 6 months to a year of a war against the United States and England, I will run wild. But I must tell you, if the war be prolonged for 2 or 3 years, I have no confidence in our ultimate victory." Yamamoto was proven right by history, but Japan didn't realize this at the time. It attacked Pearl Harbor. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor Naval Base in Hawaii for a couple of reasons. On December 7, 1941, the U.S. Naval Base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, was attacked by Japan. There were many reasons why Japan wanted to be the biggest empire, and the United States was the only obstacle in their way. At the time of the attack, the United States had a huge portion of its naval fleet at Pearl Harbor. If the Japanese ruined the U.S. Navy base, they could control the Pacific and advance, while America could only want to expand their empire, and started by invading China during the middle of the 1937 summer. As punishment, Roosevelt cut trade with Japan in 1938. All these things string together with the bombing. On the morning of December 7, 1941, the Japanese bombing planes came in 2 a.m. and the second at 8:55 a.m. The attack targeted U.S. battleships, aircraft, and anti-aircraft guns. The attack on Pearl Harbor killed 2,400 Americans, and 350 aircraft destroyed or damaged as well. And on top of that, all 8 battleships of the U.S. Pacific Fleet were sunk or badly damaged. By the end of the essay, you will understand how all these things string together with the bombing. There were a few ways Japan wanted to expand through Asia and the Pacific. They invaded China until the U.S. got in their way by cutting off trade, which affected the Japanese economy very poorly. Japan bombed Pearl Harbor to take away the U.S. Pacific power. The United States had money, good military equipment, and industries. If Japan took some of these, they could have much more power. Because Japan was interested in expanding in the resources, they were worried that the U.S. military might try to stop them. Japan had lost plenty of supplies by the American trade cut. They wanted to get back. Franklin Delano Roosevelt threatened Japan by cutting trade. They lost over 90% of their oil supply. That led to Japan making America a target. They attacked Pearl Harbor for revenge and power. Japan wanted to keep America out of World War II because their military was good and they were very powerful, so they could win by bombing Pearl Harbor, they thought. They thought they could achieve this. Yamamoto, however, said, "I fear we will awaken a sleeping giant," and he was right. On December 8th, America was never more awake and never more vengeful.